But first, new at 5:30 tonight, saxophonist and recording artist Jackiem Joyner went to Syracuse's Fowler High School, and tonight Matt is going up close with him.
Now, he's heading off to Kiev in the Ukraine for a return musical engagement there. Takes with him a resume that includes songs that reached #1 on the Billboard Contemporary Jazz charts. His world travels are the reward for his dedication to being a professional musician. Now, before heading abroad, he returned to Syracuse. As we go up close with Jackiem Joyner, he's proving it's possible to defy the odds, escape poverty, and make a life that exceeds your dreams. The streets of Syracuse's near west side can be a heavy weight to overcome. Growing up on food stamps and public assistance, living on your own in an apartment, and working 40 hours a week to make ends meet, all while in high school.
I get out at about 2 in the morning, and after that, I wake up at about 6, and I will ride my bike here to Fowler to make sure that I could graduate.
Jackiem Joyner graduated from Fowler in 1999. By 2004, he was living in LA. By 2009, he was #1 in smooth jazz.
Mr. Alisea?
How are you?
Good to see you.
Good to see you too.
Thanks to CNY Jazz, Joyner is back in town and sharing his experiences at Fowler.
I've been all throughout all the hallways, and I wasn't, I was a knucklehead sometimes, but I kind of figured things out in my senior year.
Do you see yourself in some of these kids? As you see them out there, what
I do.
qualities do you see, good and maybe bad?
Well, I see a lot of kids really maybe I wouldn't like to use the word confused, but really trying to figure out what they want to do.
Yeah.
Figure out where they want to go, which is kind of how I was. I didn't know. I knew I wanted to be in music, but I wasn't really sure. I didn't sure what I wanted to do. And a lot of these kids, it seems like, they're like, I want to go this way, they want to go that way. And I think having someone come that can they can see a career that exists, in the now, that comes from the same seat that they have. Like for me, I grew up in a family of 5, single mother, welfare, and I walked to school, so I didn't have any extra things. And
where did you find that self-motivation when you're 15, 16 years old? I mean, looking back, do you have any sense of why you were able to do that?
Well, ever since middle school, and I graduated from Grant Middle School, I kind of wanted to, I was kind of an introvert kind of a kid, I was kind of like always keeping to myself, but there was something inside of me that wanted attention, a little bit of attention, and I wanted to be recognized for something, and I wanted to develop some kind of a talent. I felt that I had something to give, but I just didn't know what it was. So when I picked up the saxophone and I learned and I became good at it, I was like, okay, this might be my niche. And I started practicing and practicing. I started getting good and started getting good. And I was like, okay, now I have something that I can give to other people that they can appreciate. And that was really the whole thing. It's just finding that thing that you really love doing.
One of the questions in the audience today was, I thought, a great question about when did you find that this was your passion? You're up here saying do something you love. Yeah. But when does that, is it a moment? Is it a year? Is it months?
I think it's a moment. I think it's a moment. It's a moment when when I was explaining it to her, for me, I'm explaining to her kind of like how I experienced it is when I was able to play something that really sounded good, and when I heard someone else playing it and delivering a sound that I really liked, and I really wanted to be able to do that. And I said, man, I could see myself doing that. But, the crazy part is all the practicing that you've got to do to be able to get there. So you can have a passion for something, but you're not good at it, and that's very frustrating. So when I was able to, play this song, I was like, okay, well, I'm in love.
When did you start practicing by the hours instead of by the minutes?
Man, here's the thing about having a passion for what you do is hours just go and go and go. And next thing you know, you're practicing for 5, 6 hours. This is a soprano saxophone. I'm mainly known for the alto saxophone, which is what I've recorded most of my records, but I've also toured a lot with this, and I've recorded many tunes with this.
Show me why you like this sound. Give me a couple notes of what makes this work.
Well, the soprano saxophone has a nice, pretty tone. It's kind of high, but if you can control it, it can really sound, real pretty. So I like, It doesn't matter what school you go to. It doesn't matter how much money you have. It doesn't matter if you live in a family and you don't have a lot of money. You can actually pursue any dream that you want to. You can be whatever you want to be as long as you put your mind to it and you focus and you do what you love.
You have to excuse us while we just sit here and listen.
Oh, he's incredible.
Isn't he something? Jackiem performed this weekend at Drumlins for CNY Jazz. They presented a Black History Month cabaret there. Those who were in attendance say the place was jumping. And just last week, he did a live gig on Sirius XM. It's on their watercolor smooth jazz station. Now he's off to Ukraine. He's a busy guy. By the way, at his latest record that came out, he plays all the instruments and recorded it, so he's got it going on.
He's so inspiring, and what I loved about it, he was talking about focus, hard work, determination, and how all of it comes into play.
Yeah, for kids who otherwise would have no reason for hope coming up in some tough circumstances.
Great story.
Check out the website for more.
Love that.